Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of In the Unspoken. I am your host, Minister Beth. Karibu sana kwenye show yetu ya siku ya leo. Everyone who is viewing, may the Lord bless you. First and foremost, I thank the Almighty God for enabling us to be here today in the Unspoken. Thank you, Pastor Peter James is watching, ready to be blessed by the testimony of our minister. Our guest today is called Minister Pretorius, and he will introduce himself. Karibu sana, Peter.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for allowing to be our guest today. We are so much honored to have you here. Pretorius Peter is he's a gospel minister. He's a gospel artist. He's a pastor. He's the what do we call Waves of Africa? He's the founder, right? Yeah, the founder of Waves of Africa. He has a big ministry, and he also has a life to share with us today. Karibu sana, Peter. Maybe you can give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Thank you so much. What an introduction. I'm so blessed. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a while, and good to see you, Minister Beth.
Good to see you too, Peter.
Thank you so much. My name is Pretorius Peter, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher, I'm a worship leader, and I'm a recording artist. I've done several songs in YouTube, and we bless God for that. Thank you.
Yeah, karibu sana, Peter.
Thank you.
And I understand you're also an English teacher. Have you said that?
Yes, I'm a literate. I'm a teacher of English.
A teacher of English. Well, sijui kama nitakopa up na hiyo English yako today, but the Lord will help me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Peter, you can let's start this off. You can tell us why you're here now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for welcoming me to the Unspoken. I think all of us have been following and we've been blessed, and I want to share my story. I want to share my story, and I'm sure God is going to bless us.
Amen. Amen.
I was born and raised by a single mother, and I was born a very bright kid. I was very bright, and when I was young, I grew up and I was taken to school. And when I was very young, at a very tender age, I quit school when I was very young. Before I went to class 1, I quit school, and I went out to the streets, and I was in the streets for around 1 year.
How old were you by then?
I don't remember how old I was, but before I was in class 1,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were very young, around
I was
4
very
years.
young. I was very young,
3, 4
like
years.
5 for 5,
Mm-hmm.
5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, and I quit school. I didn't want anything to do with school. I never wanted to go to school. I didn't like school, but I was very bright. I was actually very bright that I would speak things that would surprise people. And I went out to the streets, and I started doing things in the streets that you would wonder what kind of things are these one. I would go, and I was a friend to every street child in our area, because that time tulikuwa tunaka Githurai 44. So my mom and I and my younger
You
sister,
were born in Nairobi?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
my mom and I and our younger sister used to live in Githurai 45.
Mm-hmm.
And I quit school, and I went out to the streets, and I stayed in the streets for almost 1 year. When everybody else was going to school, I never used to go to school. So when they sent me to school, I would wear my uniform, and then because I had a lot of friends, so I carry my bag, and then I go and meet my friends, and I change my uniform. I wear gozi za normal, and then tunaenda kwa street. So do stuff, and I remember we used to go and steal toys zenye zinauzangu huku kwa barabara,
Mnaenda mnaiba kwa
Yes.
hawkers. Mhm.
si kwa hawkers,
Wale wenye
kwa
wanatandika.
vibanda. Kuna watu
Mhm.
wanekanga kwa vibanda.
Mhm.
So we'd go there and we steal and we run.
Mhm.
And we would run and do so many things and stuff like that. So I never went to school. I remember I went to nursery, I went to pre-unit, but I don't remember myself in class 1 and class 2.
Mhm.
I went to class 3.
Mhm.
And I went to class 3 because it had become difficult for my mom to handle me.
Mhm.
So she had to take me home. Ushago.
Oh, Shago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was very tricky and I was very bright. So I would come up with every plan that we were supposed to do.
Mhm.
And I was a very young kid, but I knew a lot. I knew a lot. I would handle a lot of things. I would do a lot of stuff. And so my mom had to take me home. So when I went home, uh, I was taken to school. I was supposed to go to report to class 1.
Mhm.
But when I went home, I met the headmaster and he started asking me questions. And I spoke like a grown up.
Mhm.
So he said, there's something different with this kid. We're not going to take this kid to class 1. Let's take him to class 3.
Mhm.
So I went to class 3 term 2. I had never been to class 1 and class 2.
Mhm.
So I went to class 3. When I went to class 3, I had a very difficult time because I didn't know what to do, where, and how.
Mhm.
So I was the second last,
Mhm.
term 2. Term 3, I was number 58 out of 62.
Number
58
out of 62.
out of
In
62
term 2, in term 3.
in term 3.
Mhm.
Now, when I went to class 4, I
Hiyo
was
time
number 10.
Ocha ulikuwa unakaa na nani?
My
Your grandmother.
Yes, my grandmom,
Okay.
my brother was there, and my
Mhm.
cousins.
Okay.
My elder brother was there, and my cousins.
Mhm.
So I went there, and we were doing stuff, and I went to class 4. When I went to class 4, term 1, I was number 10.
Class 4 term 1.
Yes.
Mhm.
Term 2, I was number 6. Term 3, I was number 1.
How?
Up to class 8.
Uh-huh.
So because I didn't go to class 1 and I didn't go to class 3, I had a
Mhm.
problem with mathematics because I didn't have the
Mhm.
basics. I've never learned 1 plus 1. I don't know 1 times 1.
Mhm.
I went to class 3 and found that zile mao zinafanywa class 3 sijawahi ziona. Unajua nimetoka nursery, niko class 3.
Mhm.
But for 1 year nimekuwa out of school.
Mhm.
So it was crazy for me. It was crazy for me. But when I went to class, when I was in class 3, kenye kilikuwa kinanichanga sana was mother tongue.
Mhm.
Juu walikuwa wanafunzwa na mother tongue.
Oh, na wewe umezaliwa Nairobi.
Sasa mimi sijui hata sijui any word ya mother tongue. So
Mhm.
wanatuletea exams and I don't know what to do with them. So that's why I was second last.
Mhm.
I think that's the problem.
And at least you are able to kushinda
Yeah.
watu wawili.
Yes, hapo at least
From
nilishinda.
nursery, all the way from nursery to class 3.
At least nilishinda
That
watu
means
wawili.
you are a bright student.
Yeah.
You are a bright pupil.
Definitely.
Mhm.
So at least nilishinda watu wawili. So when I went to class 4, now they were teaching in English.
Mhm.
So English and Swahili was a little bit better for me. Actually, one of the things that made the headmaster to take me to class 3 was I was eloquent.
Mhm.
I would speak and I don't even know. I would speak English and I don't know how.
Mhm.
I don't know how I would read. I would read a paragraph and I'd never been to a reading class.
How? Does it mean you used to speak in your home when you stay here in
No,
Nairobi?
okay, when I was young, my mom took me to an academy. It was a private school.
Mhm. Nursery.
Yeah, in nursery,
Mhm.
and it was called Red Roses.
Mhm.
It's in Githurai, and I was transferred to another school. It's called Robbins Academy.
Mhm.
So there we were taught in English.
Mhm.
Everything we were taught in English. So that time, for around 2 years, I learned how to express myself and read and write some ABCD and stuff like that. But when I got home, I didn't know how I began reading a paragraph without being in a reading class. I don't know how that happened. I think that was a miracle. When the headmaster came to me and he was asking me questions in Swahili, I was responding in English. So he said there's a difference with this kid. So let's take him to class 3 and try him. Actually, I was going to class 3 to be tried. If I can handle class 3. So that time I was supposed to be in class 3, not class 1. I was supposed to be in class 3 because for the last 2 years I
You were
wasn't
not
in school. Yeah. So I went where I was supposed to be. So I went to class 3, term 2, and life began there. When I went to class 4 now, education and stuff like that began making sense to me. And at home, people were going to school, so I didn't have an alternative. I had to go to school. I had to go to school because there was nothing else everybody else was doing. Every young kid in our society and in our village and in our family and in our home was going to school. So there is no way I would remain behind. So I had to go to school. So when I went to school, when I was in class 4, term 1, now education began making sense to me. And I began doing stuff and reading and working hard. By the time I was in class 4, term 3, I had become the best. I'd become the best student in our class. And I would do stuff. I began
In class 4.
in class 4. I began doing speeches in class 4. I would do our headmaster's speech.
That time you're still learning in the village, schooling in the village.
Yes, I'm still schooling in the village. And they would give me a speech and I would do a headmaster's speech. I would represent our school in, there were things, those days they were called zones and provinces. So our zone, all the schools would come together and the whole province and the district, they would come together. And when they come together, I was the one who was always representing our headmaster, talking about stuff in our school and things like that. When I was very young, I would do stuff like that. When I went to class 5, our family I come from a religious family. My uncle is a pastor. My aunt is married by a pastor. My cousin is a pastor. There's an extended cousin of mine, a pastor. So we used to wake up, when we wake up in the morning, we would find them speaking in tongues. So we would wake up in the morning and find people walking around speaking in tongues and praying. So when I was in class 5, ministry and church began being part of me because they took me to church. When they took me to church, the street life, the hooligan, the bad boy. I was a bad boy. I was a bad kid. Very bad. Mi hakuna kitu mtu angeniambia. Nothing.
Na sasa hebu nikuulize, hiyo time umetoka Nairobi, ushazoea hiyo maisha ya kukua chiki boy, stealing people's things, umepelekwa Ocha. How was life for you that time, that transition?
When I went home, it was hard, and I wanted to prove to everybody that I was
Umetoka Nairobi.
nimetoka Nairobi. And I was learning karate, I was running kung fu, I was doing DJ Afro movies that time. So I was a big fan of DJ. I think he lost a fan. But yeah, but I was doing all that. So I was very good in fighting. I would fight and do all that stuff. So when I came home and see huyu kijana ametoka hapi anafanya, so I would fight. I would do all these nasty things and fight and beat people. I remember there came a time when tukitoka shule kulikuwa na njia 3 kwa gate. Kuna njia ya left, ya right na ya straight, kwenda straight. So kuna wale watu wa kwenda in our village walikuwa tunaenda left. So hiyo njia ya kwenda kwetu hakuna mtu angeniweza vita. I was the best. So ukisikia mtu amekwambia nitafunga na wewe, they used to come to me. So mimi ndo boss. Mimi ndo na defend. Now I was a bad guy. Drugs. I have never used drugs, but there was that thing that I was always this bad person. I just wanted to do my thing. I just wanted to be independent. I just wanted to do my stuff. Just be me. And that was my problem because sikuwa nataka kupea mtu chance ya kukua better than me. If you feel you can be better than me, then that was a problem, me and you. So when I went home, things began changing because of the environment and the circumstance and the people I met at home. Because on Sunday morning, everybody is going to church. On Monday morning, everybody is going to school. So life began changing from there. Yeah.
When was that? Class 5?
Now in class 5, in class 4. In class 5, that's when I began doing ministry, going to Sunday school, leading praise, Sunday school, po tumefika baba ni nguvu zako, stuff like that, and doing memory verses and on Christmas, like kuzaliwa kwa Yesu Kristo kulikuwa hivi, Mariamu mama yake. stuff like
So
that.
you are the Joseph in that village.
Yes, yes, doing things like that.
Mhm.
So
You're acting as the father of Jesus.
yes, I was the father. Actually, I was the father, and I had my wife Mary. She was there always, but we but we had a good time. Now ministry began getting into me. I began reading the Bible. We used to go to assembly every day at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I used to take the Bible and go read a verse every day in the morning. Every day. In class 4, in class 5, class 6, class 7, class 8. And I did my exams, and I went now to, I went to secondary school. And when I got to secondary school, a very bright student, but when I was in Form 2, something happened. I got sick. I had asthma and pneumonia in Form 2. Now things began changing.
You're still schooling in Kwambani.
Yeah, that time I was schooling in Ukambani. That time my mom had come home from Nairobi. My mom was a wealthy businesswoman, so she came home. When she came home, all the businesses collapsed. When all the businesses collapsed, we had now to start believing God and surviving. And that time, my mom doesn't have nothing, and I'm going to Form 1. So I don't remember a time I went to school with pocket money. I don't remember a single day I went to school with pocket money. I used to go to school with only fare. And every time I went to school with fare, anytime I had to be sent home, ilikuwa lazima niombe fare because I didn't have nothing. Actually, tulikuwa tunakula mikate shule. I wasn't that person mwenye, I don't remember the last time nilienda kununua mkate. Kenye kilinisaidia, I was a prefect. So prefect tulikuwa tunapewa mikate. So ikakuwa, I'm not different from everybody else. When everybody else has a bread, I have mine because I was a prefect. But life was hard because I didn't have nobody to call to tell them, send me 100 bob or 100 shillings for this and this and this and this and that. There is no day I had to go back home that I had fare. I had to borrow. And every time I came back from home, I had to refund someone. And that was my life in high school. So when I got to high school, I had gotten deep into ministry. When I was in Form 4, I had preached in several universities. In JQuad, I'd been in JQuad, I'd been in KU.
You were about high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had been in KU, I'd been in several universities.
Yani ulikuja ukabadilika hadi ukaanza kupreach.
Yes. I had been in our school in KU, Kenyatta University, Kitui campus, before I reported. I had been there earlier. So I started preaching. Things started changing. It is not something I learned. It is not something I chose to do. It is something that began manifesting itself in my life. So when I went to school, life was hard. Life was so hard that I was so stressed up most of my times. So when I got sick in Form 2, things changed because that sickness affected my brains. That ikakuwa sielewi. I remember nilikuwa naenda kukunywa dawa na paper bag ya black. A black paper bag. So I used to carry a black paper bag when I was going to take my medicine because there were so many. Box yangu kifungua hivi kenye ulikuwa unasikia ni harufu ya dawa. Nilikunywa dawa mpaka nikaanza kunuka dawa, nikaanza kunuka chemistry. For almost 1 year. And I became weak. I was a little bit bigger than this one, so I was bigger. I was bigger than this. And when I got there, I became slim and slow. My mind became a little bit slower, and I became slim because ya medication, kudungwa madawa hapa na pale. Nilikuwa nikikunywa dawa, I have to take 5 hours to recover because they were very strong. See, pneumonia and asthma, hizo vitu zote are the same place. It was terrible. It was terrible. So I became weak. Nilikuwa navaa nguo linakaa zile gunia zinabebanga mitumba ya Kikomba because I would wear full necks and jackets and trouser and everything.
Heavy clothes.
Yes.
So many clothes in you.
A lot of
On
clothes.
you.
I'd wear
Mm.
everything.
Mm.
Ndio niende class. The problem was anytime I got to class, Kitui is very hot. Ndio umevaa nguo 100. You have to sleep. I would look at the teacher anafunza geometry. Sioni anything. I'm just hearing voices. And nikakunywa madawa, I remember one day I almost died because I niligonjeka nikiwa shule. I went home and I went to my uncle's place. My uncle is a pastor. So when I got there, usiku nikalala. When I slept at midnight, it was raining and nikapatwa na breathing problems. I could not breathe. I could not breathe at all. Mi niliacha nimekufa. I found myself in the hospital. So wakanidunga madawa huku kila mahali, and then
Ulikuwa unatumia inhaler?
no, I never used inhalers. So I came back home. When I came back, nikitoka wakaniambia usitumie soap yoyote iko na scent. Nitumie panga soap. Nisitumie lotion, nitumie Vaseline.
Because of the strong
Yes.
smell.
Nisitumie nikule mchele peke yake. So that kind of a thing. So I went home, and when I went home, nikakaa nika recover, nikabeba madawa zangu, nabeba bag ya black, nikaeka na nikaenda shule. When I was going to school, that time I was already tired. You see, when you are in a certain situation, there comes a point, I don't want to preach, but let me just say this. There comes a point in life when you are in a situation and you get tired of the situation. Because I was already tired. My brother was asthmatic, and I am asthmatic, and I have a problem, and I want to deal with it. So it came a point I got tired. So they told me, usinunue nini, usitumie perfume. So nikienda shule, juu walikuwa wanajua I have a problem with meals. They gave me money. Ndio maybe ya kusurvive hapa na pale. Nikapita Naivas. Iko Kitui town. I bought Vassman Cool. I bought Geisha. And I bought
Hiyo time ulikuwa campus ama?
I was in form 2.
Still in high school. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I bought everything yenye iko na scent. I bought it.
Na umekatazwa?
Na nimekatazwa because I was already tired and I went to school. When I went to school, nikakunywa madawa, siku moja nilikunywa madawa nikalala 5 hours. Paka walimu walikuwa wamenizoea, this guy is always sleeping. So nikatoka, ilikuwa saa 10 at 4 p.m. So nikachukua hizo madawa, nilikuwa naenda kukunywa hizo madawa, nikabeba jug ya maji because of swallowing the pills and stuff like that. So I carried all the drugs and everything. Na nikaenda nikakunywa hizo madawa, nikasikia zinanuka vibaya. Nikazichukua zote, nikamwaga maji, nikazimwagilia maji na nikazitupa.
Dawa zile unafaa kukunywa?
Yes. I threw them away. I went to my box. I cleared everything completely. I threw it away. After 3 days, nikakuwa mgonjwa kabisa.
Na ulitupa madawa?
Na nilitupa madawa. I had to be taken home. They asked me, madawa ziko wapi? Nikawaambia zilisha. So nikapelekwa hospitali tena, nikadungwa. Ilifika mahali nikaandikiwa daktari. Nikaambiwa, when you get sick, don't call us. You just go to the hospital, the doctor will call us. Atuambie bills na mmefanya nini, stuff like that. So every time I had a problem, I would run there and akinitreat, anapiga simu nyumbani. Anasema kijana alikuwa hapa, kuna bill ya 1,000 ama kuna bill ya 20,000. Stuff like that. So I got tired. Nikaambia daktari, this is the last time you are treating me. I don't want this kind of a thing. So daktari akanidunga, and then I went. When I went home, when I went back to school, that was sasa nimeenda form 3. Nikakataa madawa kabisa, and kutoka form 3, form 4, first year university up to now. That's how asthma ended.
Aya, na haikukuaffect?
No, it didn't have effect.
Okay, wow. Ilikuja tu by faith.
Iliisha by faith.
Wow.
That was faith. I think that was faith.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how madawa na mambo zilisha.
And now after high school uka manage to join campus.
Yeah, I
How
went
was
to
your life
campus.
then?
Now I went to campus. When I went to campus, I entered a different, a different, a different phase of life. Now I began doing serious ministry because I loved ministry. I loved God. I loved serving God. I remember I came to school and I went to school and joined the praise and worship the first day. The first day I got to school, I went to a praise and worship meeting. When I went to the praise and worship meeting, after 2 weeks, I was given a chance to lead in the praise and worship. And then the third week, I was the worship leader.
You were still in first year.
I was in
The third week of your first year.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I reported to school like a month later after the actual day of reporting.
Day.
So I came very late and I became the worship leader and I started leading people I didn't know. Actually, I didn't know anybody in that worship team. I just had you as a friend.
Really?
Yeah. I just had you as a friend and so I didn't know their names. I didn't know who is who. But now I was the worship leader. And from there, my life in ministry began becoming serious. And that's when now life became life. Because I had to trust God. I came to school when I didn't know who was going to pay my school fees. Because I remember one day I walked in a bank and I didn't have school fees. And I walked in a bank and I wanted to pay my school fees. It was 3 minutes before the bank was closed. 3 minutes before the bank was closed, and I needed 20,000 shillings. And I didn't have that money. So I told my mom, let's get in. Let's go in the bank. And when we got in the bank, my mom asked me, now, what are we going to do here? Because we are here, the bank is already closed. We are doing nothing here. Everybody is getting out of the bank. We don't have nothing. So what are we going to do? I told mom, you just sit down. Let's trust God. So after a couple of around like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, somebody called me. And they asked me, hey, I want to send you money. Somebody told me I own a school fees. I said, yes, I don't have. He said to me, he said to me, how much? I said 20,000. He said, right now. And he sent me 20,000. Then I sent my mom akaenda
Were you
akatoa.
expecting that?
No, I was just in the bank.
Oh.
I just walked in the bank
By faith again.
by faith, and it was the deadline
Mm-hmm.
of the fee paying day. It was the deadline. That was the last day. The deadline of the extension of the deadline. So if that
Cannot be
school fees,
extended
yes,
again.
if that school fees was not paid, it was a done deal. So we paid and we walked out of the bank, and I went back to school.
Wow.
And that was life, and I began doing ministry now. And that's when life became life. Things started changing. Things started turning around. And because I remember we would go out for missions and preach and do stuff, and you don't know how you're gonna get home. You don't know how you will get back to school, and you're a student. I remember one day I was invited for a worship experience in J Quad University. Tunakuanga na, it's not a problem, but when we are invited, we expect you to fare us back.
Do we call a token of thanksgiving or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. So so I went over there. I did we preached, we managed to do a powerful service, and then it was time to go home. The person who
You didn't
invited,
have fare.
yeah, the person who invited me told me, young man, you are blessing. You are a big blessing to us. You have blessed us. May the Lord bless you and do you good. May He shine His face upon you. So I said, oh my God. So he said to me, I'll call you, I'll call you by that. So I had to go home. So what I did, nilikuwa na fare less 50 bob. So I went to country bus and nikaangalia gari naweza ingia, nikaona hapo kulikuwa na I didn't take breakfast. I had not taken supper. I had not taken breakfast the following day. I had not taken breakfast that night when I was ministering. Supper that night. I had not taken breakfast after the ministration. And now I had to go back. So I went and nikaingia gari.
Uko njaa, this is another frustration, hauna fare.
Yes. Nimeingia gari na najua fare is less 50 bob.
Ukaingia gari.
Nikaingia gari. So
Unarudi wapi saa hiyo? Kitui?
Naenda Kitui sasa. Naenda Kitui. So wakati niliingia gari tukakuja, tukiwa kwa njia fare, what I had I gave the conductor. Nikamwambia this is what I have. Ananiambia where are you going? Nikamwambia Kitui. Nikamwambia unaenda Kitui kufanya nini? Nikamwambia I'm a student, I'm going to school. Akaniambia it's okay. So I went. So gari ikakuja ikafika Machakos, kila mtu akashuka, nikabaki ndani peke yangu. Tukakaa Machakos for around 6 hours.
Mkingoja watu wajae?
Tukigoja watu wajae.
What?
So nilitoka Nairobi at around 7
p.m.
7 a.m. Yeah, in the morning. Nilikuwa nafika Kitui at around 8
p.m.
8 p.m. And I didn't have money. I didn't have nothing. So mali nilifika, mali nashuka gari mpaka kwa gate ya shule, it's a distance. So I had to trek. And I was so angry. So when I got to school, nikapata roommates wako sijui hata walienda wapi. So nikapanda kwa bed, nikalala. Niko njaa. Na nimeabudu watu wamejazwa roho. So I slept. I woke up in the morning, I didn't have anything. So nikaka, I didn't go to class because singe concentrate. So nikakaa kwa room, nikashindwa what to do. So nikaamuka, nikaangalia kwa dirisha, nikafungua curtains na nikaangalia kwa dirisha. So something spoke. I heard a voice. There was a woman alikuwa anauza food nje ya gate. Shule kwetu. There was mahoteli zilikuwa huko nje. So a voice told me, go and eat. So mi nikatoka kwa room yangu. When I was going, I met a friend of mine. I won't mention her name. And nikamsalimia. She asked me, hey, how are you? You doing fine? I said, I'm doing okay. I asked her, are you okay? I said, yeah. I told her, help me with 20 bob. I will refund it in a few minutes. Because I wanted 20 bob, nieke credit, nipigie my mom, and it took me a mia. Niende
Ulipe 20 bob.
Niende nikule, nilipe 20 bob, nikule for that day. So that girl asked me, what do you need it for? I said, I need to buy some airtime. She said, before you buy airtime, I want to take you somewhere. I asked her, where do you want to take me? She said, just follow me. She took me to an hotel.
Wow.
And she told me, eat anything. So I ate. And then she said, what do you drink? I said, I can do a soda because it was too hot. So nikachukua soda, nikakunywa. And then she paid everything.
Wow.
And then and then I came back. I came back to school. And that was life. That was ministry. And here and there.
That was your life of in campus.
Yeah, that was my life in campus. Every part of my life, every beat of my life was faith. Yeah.
Now you can tell us something about your ministry now after campus, and how has life been?
Yeah, after campus, life has been good. Everything has been doing okay. Ministry is doing well. As I said earlier, I'm a pastor, I'm a recording artist, I'm a preacher. And right now I have done 2 songs. One is called Faithful God.
Mhm.
Some people call it Forever Faithful.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the other one is called Without You. It's a testimony of my life
Mhm.
that we cannot do without God. That God has brought us this far. The Lord has been with us, and ministry is doing good. I'm doing a ministry. It's called Waves of Worship Africa.
Mhm.
It's an international ministry.
Mhm.
So we gather once every year to worship God. Everybody is invited, the big, the small, the young, the old, and everyone else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you done that this year?
We are about to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us something more about now your music ministry specifically, because I believe and I understand that you've recorded a new song. You've released a new song actually this week.
Yes.
Na nilisikiza, it's a very powerful song.
Thank you.
Tell us something about that.
I recorded a song. It's called Without You. That song was written by a friend of mine, but I wrote the second part of the song, and we thank God. We thank God for that. We thank God for that. Uh, it is a song. It's called Nothing Without You. It's a song that came to me one time when I was trusting God for last year's event. And God was telling me to depend on Him and to trust in Him. Because when we were doing, I came to Nairobi to do an event when I didn't know anybody in Nairobi. But God had spoken to me and told me, go and do a service for me in Nairobi. So I came from Kitui and I didn't know anybody. And I obeyed God. So when I obeyed God, I came over and God released the song was ministering into my spirit that I'm nothing without Him. He has brought me this far that I can't live without Him. The second part of the song says, I can't live without you. You are the reason I'm here. So uh, it's a big thing to me because everything about me, everything about my ministry, everything about my education, everything about this far, it is purely God. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. And something about faithful God.
Faithful God. Faithful God is an interesting song. I got Faithful God when I was depressed. I was in second year. I was depressed. I didn't know what to do and I didn't know where to go and I didn't know how and when and stuff like that. But there was a program in our school that was called Best P. Best P. There was a program like that. So one day I never wanted to go to that program. I just liked taking my time because it used to come on Tuesday evening and I loved praying on Tuesday evening. So this time, this particular day, I was in my room and I didn't want to go for that program, but I was so depressed. I was broke. I didn't have money. I didn't have nothing. And everybody who used to see me in school thought that I was a rich kid. They thought that I come from a good family and stuff like that. And that image, and they knew that I'm a man of God. So anybody who is approaching me was approaching me in terms of a man of God. And that was a problem and that's a problem with many men of God because they have to portray a certain picture to everybody else so that they can fit everybody in. So that was my problem. And this time, I decided to go to. I didn't. I didn't have nothing. I was so broken. Uh, I was so broken. I was so broken, and I was broken and I was broke. See, those two things are so bad. Never be broken and broke at the same time. It can kill you. I think it's good to choose one. It's good to choose one. So I was broken. I was broken, and so I walked through the room that Best P was being done. And I had them worshiping God. So I decided, let me go just because I just wanted somewhere to just sit and relax and maybe stop thinking about a lot of things, stop thinking too much. So when I walked in, we worshiped and then we sat down. When the preacher came to preach, the pianist started playing the piano. and he started playing. He was playing da 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 da, something like that. When they were playing something like that, I sat down and I stopped listening to the piano, to the what, to the speaker. I started listening to the pianist.
And you composed a song.
Yes. So when he was playing the melody, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that's when I began singing. You are forever faithful. I was singing You Are Forever Faithful, and there was nothing to show about the faithfulness of God. There was completely nothing to show about the faithfulness of God. So that time when I was saying, You are forever faithful, Jesus, I started singing that song. So immediately the preacher stopped. I rushed to the pianist and I told him, play what you will play. And the whole worship team came over and we started singing that song. You are forever faithful. And that's how Forever Faithful came.
Wow, wow, wow. So, Minister Pretorius, there's one thing I've learned about your life. Faith has been I mean, it is something that has always kept you going.
Yes.
Like you don't have school fees, but because of faith, you get school fees.
Yes.
You come to Nairobi with nothing, but by faith, life yako tu ina change and
Yes.
all that. You don't have meals, but by faith inakuja tu.
Yes.
Meaning that you are a product of faith.
Yes.
It is faith that has brought you, as in hiyo ndio imekufikisha kule umefika right
Yes.
now,
Yes.
Peter. And right now, in a season of COVID-19, there are so many people outside here who are struggling in life. Hawajui what to do, hawajui where to go next. Maybe wame lose kazi zao, landlord ndio hao wako on their neck, and they don't have a job, they have nothing. What can you tell such kind of people?
I want to tell everybody who is listening to us today that God is not a respecter of persons. And if he did it to us and to me specifically, he also can do it to you. What I would want to tell you is that never lose faith. Never stop believing in God. It might delay, it might be late, but at the end of the day, God will come. Job 42, the Bible says, now I know for sure that the plan of God cannot be thwarted. So what I would tell you, no matter where you are, no matter what you are going through, no matter what is happening in your life, God will one day come through. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter how it is. It doesn't matter who it is. God does it for everybody. God doesn't have favorites. He doesn't have specific people. He doesn't deal with only specific people. He can also deal with you. He can also deal with your situation. He can deal with your circumstance. He can handle everything that you think it's impossible, because God can do everything and anything and anyhow and anywhere.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Personally, I'm really blessed. I'm really encouraged, Minister Pretorius. And also maybe there is someone who wants to look up to you outside there, anaweza kutafuta, anaweza taka you share out this testimony to them or to their church or something like that. You can also mentor them in music, in worship. Where can such kind of a person get you?
You can find me in Facebook, Pretorius Peter. You can find me in Instagram, Pretorius Peter. In Twitter, Pretorius Peter. And in YouTube, Pretorius Peter. Haven't changed any name. So when you get there, you can text me, you can inbox me, and we will catch up.
All right. Thank you so much. Peter, you can also tell us, are you married? Are you single? Are you whatever? Are you entangled?
I'm not married. I'm not dating. But maybe one of these fine days.
You're not married, you're not dating. Oh wow. So there's so much hopes from with you from ladies outside there. Yeah, thank you so much for accepting our invite, Peter. Yeah, thank you too to my spiritual father, Apostle Sami Kairu, who is the founder of CEO and the founder of ETV Kenya. Thank you for allowing us to be here today in your station. Thank you for giving us this chance in the Unspoken. I am so much grateful, Daddy. Until next time, let's be here in the Unspoken. Bye.
I'm nothing without you. You're the air that I breathe. You're my love, my life. You're my everything. Oh, I'm nothing without you. You have brought me this far, and all that I am is because you are. I'm nothing without you. You're the air I breathe. You're my love, my life. You're my everything. Oh, I'm nothing without you. You have brought me this far, and all that I am is because you are. Where would I be without you? You rewrote my life, made it brighter than the noontime sun. Where would I be without you? Jesus, you fought for me. In my weakness, you became my strength, my joy, my peace. Oh, where will I be without you? You rewrote my life, made it brighter than the noontime sun. Where would I be without you? Jesus, you fought for me. In my weakness, you became my strength, my joy, my peace. There is no me without you. You hold my life, and I will dwell where you are till my breath runs out. I can't live without you. I can't live. You're the reason I'm here, and all of me loves all of you. There is no me without you. There is no me. Jesus, you hold my life, and I will dwell where you are till my breath runs out. I can't live without you. You're the reason I'm here, and all of me loves all of you. Oh, where would I be without you? You rewrote my life, made it brighter than the noontime sun. Where would I be without you? Jesus, you fought for me. In my weakness, you became my strength, my joy, my peace. Oh, where will I be without you? You rewrote my life, made it brighter than the noontime sun. Where would I be without you? Jesus, you fought for me. In my weakness, you became my strength, my joy, my peace.
You are watching ETV Kenya, empowering believers with the word of faith.